If what you need is guidance before you hit up the studio, before you pay all that money out, this is the video for you. Stay tuned.
HISSound on the beat.
New rappers are always eager to get straight into the booth. Always want to just hit up the mic. They always want to just drop the bars. They always got that fire to lay down. But hold up a sec. Wait. Before you go and do all of that, what we're going to talk about today is what you should be thinking about before you even think about calling that studio up. Because I've had many a time back in the day where people have come, paid, and they've not got nothing done. So in this video today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about what you should do and what you shouldn't do before you call the studio. Okay, let's get straight into it. So I prepared a few tips for if you've never been to the studio before. Some of them are a bit self-explanatory, but it's just so that you don't get yourself into any problems with any of the engineers, any of the producers, or anyone you're working with at the studio. Okay, don't bother with the studio until you are confident. That is rule number one. Also, make sure you're ready. Make sure you got your bars. Make sure you got your beats. Make sure you got money to get to that studio. Make sure you can get to the studio, i.e. you've got travel to get to the studio. It's not worth it unless you've got all of those things prepared. Otherwise, that's going to wreck the whole mood, the vibe of this of the whole recording. You're not going to be focused unless you've got those things sorted. Okay? If you do decide to go ahead with the studio after those things, then the next thing you need to be thinking about is how ready are you? There's a difference between being ready and thinking you're ready. You need to make sure you prepare those bars. Make sure you're ready with your material when you get to the studio. Otherwise, you're going to waste time finding what you need for that certain session, should we say. Don't eat or drink near the equipment. That's always a big no-no. People always trying to be sipping their drink, trying to drop their can near the computer and that. No, just leave it outside, or most studios will have a designated place where you can go to eat, whether that be outside, whether that be in another room. Go and use that place. Don't eat your smelly food in the studio because it's not nice. Organize your eating and drinking before you get to the studio or after, whenever's appropriate. Do whatever you need to do, but just most studios don't want smelly takeaway around their new gear. That's just a straight up fact, okay? Don't touch the equipment. Step away from them buttons. Just don't touch anything unless you've been asked or unless you've been told you can. Doesn't matter if you know what you're doing, it's not your studio. A lot of the time you'll be paying to be using the studio. Unless you've got your own studio, then by all means do what you want. But don't be touching someone's equipment, yeah? It's not worth it unless you want your mix to sound so dead. Worst case, you just upset the engineer who won't want to work on it with you, and he's not going to go 100. And then, even worse, to be honest, what could end up happening is you might break something. So you're going to have to pay a big bill, more than probably what you're being charged to record that day. So just don't touch anything, okay? Make sure you are comfortable. And when I say comfortable, I mean good clothing, as sometimes in the studio with all the gear in there and everything, it can get hot. Just make sure you're appropriately dressed. Bring a friend if it helps. Ladies, but make sure they know that you're paying for the studio time. Men, I've seen them do it too. You come to the studio, you bring your friend who is just not musically inclined. He doesn't care how much you're paying for that studio time. He's there to chill. What does this button do? They're giving you suggestions that make no sense to what's going on with your song or your genre. They're just sitting there eating their crisp in the engineer's ear while you're in the booth. That's not the way to go about it. Bring someone who's actually understanding that you're making music and you need focus. You can't have someone there who's just munching their crisp and not really paying attention. I want everyone to know that obviously music, it's a serious thing, but at the same time, obviously, there's a fun element to it. So remember, while we're going through all this, I don't want it to all be bad comments. I want there to be good things too. So obviously, remember, while you're at the studio, remember to have fun. But also remember, you are paying and it is serious. So do not mess up your chance in a place where all rappers, we should all love to be. We should all love to be in the studio. Hopefully, this short video has helped clear up any fears you might have or any things you weren't sure about at the studio. And if you think we've missed anything out, you can put it in the comments below for me, the do's and don'ts for studio. Like, share and subscribe to all of the content, as there's plenty more tips and tricks along the way that you will see that I feel will help a lot of new upcoming rappers, producers, musicians, etc. So if you know somebody who fits that category, you could also share the video with them so that they can learn something too. Thank you very much for listening today, and remember, it's time to grow your sound with It's His Sound. I'm Shek Music.